And he traveled in the North Country up in when they were having their gold strikes up there, so forth. So it was always and he wrote a lot of poems. The Spell of the Yukon, which is the shooting of Dan McGrew, and the one that I'm going to say is called The Cremation of Sam McGee. Sam McGee, there are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake Labarge. I cremated Sam McGee. Now, Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home in the South to roam round the pole, God only knows. He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell, though he'd often say in his homely way that he'd rather live in hell. On Christmas Day, we were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail. Talk of your cold, through the parka's fold it stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes we'd close, then our lashes froze till sometimes we couldn't see. It wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. That very night, as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed, and the stars overhead were dancing heel and toe, he turned to me, and Cap, says he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess. But if I do, and if I do, I'm hoping that you won't refuse my last request. Well, he seemed so low that I couldn't say no. And he says with a sort of a moan, it's this cursed cold and it's got right hold till I'm chilled clean through to the bone. Yet tain't being dead, it's my awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I want you to swear that foul or fair, you'll cremate my last remains. Well, he seemed so low, I couldn't say no. He says with a sort of a moan, this cursed cold got right through to the bone. But if things last need, a palace last need is a thing to heed. And sometimes, so I swore I wouldn't fail. And we hurried on at the streak of dawn, but God, he looked ghastly pale. He sat in the sleigh and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee. And before nightfall, the corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. There wasn't a breath in that land of death. And I hurried horror driven because of that. Because of it. Something that I couldn't, because of a kid I couldn't get rid. because of a promise given. He was lashed to the sleigh and he seemed to say, you may tax your brawn and brains, but you promised true, and it's up to you to cremate those last remains. Well, a pal's last need is a thing to eat. And I hurried, horror-driven, with a corpse half hidden, because that I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. But lashed to the sleigh, and it seemed to say, you may tax your brawn and brains, but you promised true, and it's up to you to cremate those last remains. Till we came to the marge of Lake Labarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, but I saw in the trice it was called the Alice May. And I looked at it, and I thought of it, and I looked at my frozen chum, and here, says I, with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found that was lying around, and I heaped the fuel higher. The flames just soared, and the furnace roared, and such a blaze you seldom see. And I burrowed a hole in the glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. Then I took a hike where I didn't like to hear him sizzle so. And the heavens scowled and the huskies howled and the wind began to blow. And I was sick with dread, but I bravely said, I'll just take a peep inside. I guess he's cooked, and it's time I looked. Then the door I opened wide, and there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the heart of the furnace roar, and he wore a smile you could see a mile. And he said, please close that door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in this cold and storm. Since I left Plum Tree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who boil for gold. The Arctic trails of their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake Labarge, I cremated Sam McGee.